Hey, this is some guy named Chris, and today I want to talk about something I've been recently receiving from Microsoft, and it's about how Power Automate's HTTP URLs are changing and how that may affect your ConnectWise flows. So let's get started, and I'm going to share my screen out real quick here. And what you're seeing is an email that I've been receiving recently. And it's saying your flow has a new trigger URL. So what does this mean? What it means is for a webhook or a callback that ConnectWise has, that sends information to a specific URL inside of Power Automate, and that URL is changing. So what we can look at, if we look at this Power Automate flow, and what this flow does is for every ticket that hits our service board, it looks to see if it's the catch-all company. If it's a catch-all company, it loops through a Microsoft list that I have set up, and it searches the Microsoft list for specific fields inside of ConnectWise and looks for certain values to update the company. So we look at the summary within a ticket, or we can also look at the first note, which is the initial description. From there, a lot of times we deal with Microsoft a lot. You may have an extension, an email extension, or a tenant ID, something like that. And from there, we can know and specifically change the company on the ticket to the real company that it is, saving our staff from changing all the catch-alls when they come in. But nevertheless, you're seeing a message up here that the old URL will stop working November 30th. They will break. So what needs to be done? Two things. One, when you come into your Power Automate and you edit, the new URL is present. So click here to copy the new URL. The new URL, the old URL is prod. The new URL is actually inside of your HTTP. What they've set up is a default with your Microsoft tenant ID in a way, and then the environment, and then you got a big long string. So they made it more tenant-based, which it was, but it looks like it was still, I think you could see West US for Azure and stuff like that. Once you have this new URL, you need to add it into ConnectWise. Now, where do you add it into ConnectWise? I'll bring up my ConnectWise here. It is underneath your setup and members and your API callbacks. We look at this, you have an API callback underneath your members, and you have these records. Now, I've already added this one. You can see here's the new one, and here's my old one. They both work. Now, it's not sending two, it's just using the one, because it's only looking for this one. It just happens to logic. But nevertheless, the service link, this new, is here. Now, one of the things you'll notice, and I've done this in other videos, there's no add here. So how do you add this? What I find easiest is Postman. So inside of Postman, I can set up the parameter, the authorization, the headers, and then the body. When you're doing the post, you're setting it to yours. And again, your header has your client ID and your descriptions. You're setting it to the callback, and you're posting a new record. This is my new string. And you have to specify the ticket. I'm looking at all my, like the one specific board. and you have to have a member ID and make sure it's inactive or active. If you do need to delete an old one, which I had to delete an old one because I did this incorrectly initially, I just wrote another thing, a delete call within Postman. But once you have this string in, your Power Automate will start working. It's going to work. And if you read the documentation, both URLs work up until November 30th. So just realize that this is something that's coming up end of November. Make sure you change your URLs, and you can keep things flowing. This has been some guy named Chris. Have a great day.